Okay, today we're going to go over Garalon, the third boss in Heart of Fear. I'm going to give you the Brewmaster point of view here. We start off with a hunter getting pheromones here, and then they go back to the entrance, towards the entrance of the room. What that does is that gives them time to kite along the edge of the room here. And then once these legs are down, Garalon gets a lot slower. So basically you have 4 legs in Garalon. And you have his body as well. When you're in these dotted circles, you do more damage to the legs. Only for that specific leg though. So if you're in the front left leg circle and you're trying to damage one of his back legs, you're not going to get that extra damage from the buff that you get when you're in this dotted line. So as you can see here, our hunter starts it off, and the other tank and I get into the front of the boss to start dodging these furious swipes. Now, what happened in this kill is someone walked under the boss. If you see the boss, he will have a little purple circle around him. Let's pause it here. Do you see this purple circle around him? You cannot go anywhere in that circle or he will use Crush. In Heroic, Crush comes out every 30 to 35 seconds. Crush does damage based on the number of stacks of pheromones the current person with the pheromone debuff has. Now, the reason that we get the hunter in here quickly is because the hunter can kite around because he is ranged. We try to switch off pheromones at about 18 to 20 stacks. So, as you can see, Crush was triggered outside of his normal Crush window. You cannot walk within his purple circle, within his little hitbox here, or he will use Crush. And it will do damage based on the number of stacks the person with pheromones has. Right now we have 10 stacks, 11 stacks on the person who started with it, our hunter. And he is doing a normal Crush, then it's 35 seconds until the next one. And it's 35 seconds. Every 35 seconds, Garalon will do a Crush. That's big physical AoE damage. Unfortunately, our hunter did die here. What we ask people to do, when you have pheromones, during the Crush, we ask people to use their personal DRs, their personal damage reduction abilities. So in case one of these pools spawn while you're stunned from Crush, you should be able to live through it. So that's the strategy. That's what we ask people to do. So the reason that we get the hunter first is so he can get all this side. And now we have the 2 tanks do it. Now we have the 2 tanks. And now he's kind of up against the wall. And he's moving a lot slower because we've killed his legs. As you can see, I'm not in melee here. So for Brewmaster, I use the Crackling Jade Lightning just to keep up damage as much as I can here. And I'm also making sure that I'm aware to keep moving when these little pools spawn under me. Also, as a Brewmaster, my suggestion to you, whether you have the pheromones or not, every Crush, I would use Guard. Guard is going to help out your healers here so that there's one less person to heal. We try to get everyone else to stack in the middle. In fact, what we do is we put a target marker on one of our ranged DPS and have people stack on that. We also use 3 healers for this fight because there's a lot of damage that goes out. The damage doesn't only come from Crush, it also comes from the pheromones itself does ticking damage to the entire raid based on how many stacks of pheromones there are. So for Heroic, we try to get to 18 to 20 stacks of pheromones. We start with a ranged DPS, then we do the 2 tanks as Garalon is a little closer to the wall here. That gives us an opportunity to still soak this furious swipe. If you see this mechanic coming up that he does very often, here it comes, furious swipe. That is something that both tanks have to soak. If they don't soak, then he gets a 10% movement buff and a 10% damage buff. And that's going to come through on the pheromones. That's going to come through on the big Crush damage as well. Now, remember, when you're thinking about damage reduction abilities for Crush, it is physical damage. So you don't want to, Devour is not going to work here, or anything else that mitigates only magic damage. You have to think about what's physical damage and do your best for that. Something like Demo Banner is great here. Something even like Rallying Cry. We use Revival. We use Health Stones. We have a Warlock. We get Spirit Link in there for the range stack. Us tanks can pretty much fend for ourselves here because we do have a lot of hit points. We do have a lot of damage reduction already built in, so that's not really an issue for us. So that's pretty much the big fight. Is we try to transfer the pheromones at 18 to 20 stacks. It doesn't matter. It doesn't even matter for us when Crush is coming. We don't pair those mechanics up. We just try to get to 18 to 20 stacks on someone, and then we switch it off. So here we are soaking the Furious Swipes. And as much as you can, try to get into these front legs. Just be mindful of when Furious Swipe is coming, because you have to make sure that you're soaking that. You're getting out for that. You don't want the damage to go up. If two people do not soak this Furious Swipe, his damage will go up 10% each time. And he casts Furious Swipe a lot. As you can see, the ground is erupting in front of him every 5-10 seconds. So like I said, we have the Hunter start with it first, then we have the 2 tanks get it, and then we have all of our ranged get it, including the healers. We have our ranged DPS and the healers get it. And finally, we try to save our melee DPS to get the pheromones last. That way, they can be in melee as much as possible throughout the fight. Now, Garalon phases at 33% health. What you want to do, ideally, is you want to get the legs low, because each time a leg dies, he takes 3% total health in damage. So that's why you want to really focus the legs if and when you can. It also slows him down, but the big thing is that he takes 3% damage. Really what you want to do is, if you have 1, 2, 3 legs, whatever, try to get them all low. And then when he transitions to phase 2, then you kill the legs. Then you're doing 3, 6, 9% damage total. So then you're in phase 2 less. Honestly, I would say, though, that's how I initially read this fight. But after doing the fight, my suggestion is kind of to get him into phase 2 as fast as possible. He actually does not hit that hard in phase 2 to tanks. I thought he was going to hit much, much harder the first time I did this. I was kind of confused that he didn't hit as hard as he could have. Now, you will not have a crush mechanic. You will not have a crush mechanic in phase 2 unless someone runs under his body, which is what just happened here. What you will have is a lot of damage on the tanks. So, it's not a ton. You can roll damage reduction cooldowns and be completely fine. Even in 10-man, we have enough damage reduction cooldowns. Right now, my Prot Paladin tank is tanking him, and he has a ton of cooldowns to use to get through this. I still have cooldowns. I still have Fortifying Brew. I still have Dampen Harm. The one thing to watch out for in phase 2, though, is the pheromones do keep stacking up, and they do keep doing damage to everybody else in the raid. So you still have to maintain that pheromone order so that raid damage doesn't get too high. And other than that, try to get the legs when you can. Try to soak all these Furious Swipes when you can. You don't want to give him extra damage in this phase. I don't think he does a ton of damage. It's not that scary, but he does enough damage where you should probably do your best to not give him any extra damage. But like here I am tanking with Fortifying Brew, and my health is really hardly moving. Yeah, it's really not that scary. Once you get to phase 2, the fight is pretty much done. As long as you have a few defensive cooldowns to get through. But honestly, even if you don't, you would still be fine. So good luck with your Garalon progression. If you have any questions, please let me know in the comments. And if this video was helpful for you, please like and subscribe. And I will be coming out with more 10-man commentary guides as my guild progresses through all MOP Phase 1 has to offer. I'll see you on the next one.